we finally got the undisputed fight between Artur Beterbiev as he took on Dmitry Bivol.
For Beterbiev, I think he fought like a great fight,
Yeah,
honestly. This is one of the best Beterbievs I've ever seen. I mean, the pace that he put on, he closed the fight like an undisputed champion.
Well, I had Bivol winning perhaps 3-0 the opening 3 rounds. And a lot of his success came from the jab.
The whole boxing community was on fire after they gave the decision.
People screaming robbery from the rooftops. A lot of prominent names in the sport are also saying, oh, Bivol won that fight. Modern day boxing judges now who are always rigging the fights.
That term robbery is used loosely in today's age. Yeah.
Everyone is screaming for a rematch. Turkey already said it himself. He wants to make the fight over again. So we're going to see a rematch, I guess. Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of the Last Round Podcast, where we cover everything from traditional boxing to influencer boxing and everything in between. In today's episode, we'll be going over the undisputed fight between Artur Beterbiev as he took on Dmitry Bivol in a fight of the ages. But before we get into the episode, make sure to like and subscribe and follow us on all forms of social media. And also, lastly, don't forget to join our Discord. The best way to get in touch with us and the best way for us to engage with you guys is to join our server. Everything that I mentioned is in the link in the description below. But now diving into the episode, we finally got the undisputed fight between Artur Beterbiev as he took on Dmitry Bivol. A lot of excitement, a lot of expectations, and in my opinion, this fight delivered. I think it was a great fight. What were your guys', I want to ask you guys, what were your guys' expectations or levels of excitement leading up to this fight week?
Well, obviously, it was really big. I mean, this was a fight for the ages, like you said. Both of the best fighters at light heavyweight, and it delivered. I was really happy with the fight. Very tactical, very chess type of fight, and also ended in controversy, which, you know, you don't love to see it, but it does add a little extra spice to every fight.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of common now with big fights, mega fights. There's always something that happens. A lot of people are not happy with the decision or and whatnot. But for me though, I was very excited. I couldn't wait for this fight to happen, and it finally came and went. Yeah, this fight definitely delivered. It was a 50-50 fight. You know, watching it was very much back and forth. It almost seemed as though every round one fighter had the advantage, and then the other fighter would come in and take over and do their thing.
Yeah, this fight, you know, if I had to rate it 1 out of 10, I'd give it a good 7, 8. Right up there. You know, I think it did deliver. I think it was Clarissa Shields who wasn't really that impressed, or it didn't like live up to her own expectation. She just said it didn't live up to it. But no, I personally, and I saw a lot of people agree that it was a good fight. Like you said, highly competitive, very apparent the IQs that were being played, and I think that the factor that was more interesting to me was what we discussed last week in the terms of the stylistic matchup. You could clearly tell their styles blended uniquely within each other, and I think it led to a very competitive, high tactical fight, and it was one that I enjoyed. You know, I made my prediction about Beterbiev winning. You know, I had him winning. I wasn't sure if it was going to be by KO or a decision, but I had him winning, and I got my prediction right, guys.
Yeah, you're the only one that got it right. But the whole boxing community thinks that Bivol won this fight. You know, it's kind of crazy. The whole boxing community was on fire after they gave the decision on Saturday. Obviously, a majority decision. So one judge had it a draw. 2 of the other judges gave it to Beterbiev. So, I mean, this is a crazy upset. What are our thoughts on the scorecards?
For me, well, like majority draw. A majority decision victory for Beterbiev isn't a bad decision for me. I just think personally for me, it was just more specifically that the third judge that had it 116-112 for Beterbiev is kind of like the thing that didn't really sit right with me. I mean, a scorecard like that means that he gave Beterbiev 8 rounds. So I did not see Bivol winning only 4 rounds. But I mean, I think that's the reason why a lot of people are feeling that type of way. I know Eddie Hearn had something to say. Frank Warren had something to say. Turkey Al-Sheikh even thought that Bivol had won.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy. So pretty much all the figures, the boxing figures, they're saying Bivol won.
Yeah.
Bivol was winning.
Except Bivol.
Yeah, Bivol's like whatever.
Bivol, I like Bivol's reaction. He's very, I mean, of course, he was upset about the whole not getting the victory, but he was very stoic, very cold, in the aspect of, well mannered. He was very humble, very showed a lot of humility, and I think that's what a lot of people. It kind of I feel a lot of people sympathize with him, and therefore it added more spark or more fire, more wood to the fire of the whole controversy, the whole robbery, people screaming robbery from the rooftops. But at first watch, it was a very close fight. At first watch, I thought they were gonna give it to Bivol. I can't lie. Once they gave the 116, 112, or they announced they were gonna announce who won that fight, I was all like, oh, it's Bivol. And then boom, to my shock, it came to Beterbiev. But then after second watch, I gave it a draw. I thought it was a draw. There was a couple swing rounds in there, some very very competitive rounds that it was very hard for me to pick who to give it to, because it was the common pattern throughout the fight was Dmitry Bivol would win maybe the first 2 minutes of the round, and in the final minute, Artur Beterbiev would win it. And so the thing is, Dmitry Bivol, I felt allowed Beterbiev to lay off too much output, too much volume, which I was not expecting from Artur Beterbiev. I thought Bivol was going to be the guy with more output.
Yeah, I don't know. I also thought it was a draw first watch. I thought it was a draw. I had it 6-6. And I watched it again. We watched it again, and I gave it a slight edge towards Beterbiev. But again, this fight is so close. It was like 50-50 back and forth action. That's why when people say robbery, I wouldn't go so far as to say robbery. I mean, this fight really could have gone either way. I think a draw would have been perfectly fine. Although it would have blue balled the whole community. But I guess now there's going to be a rematch, Yeah. Everyone is screaming for a rematch. Turkey already said it himself. His Excellency already said it himself that he wants to make the fight over again. So we're going to see a rematch, I guess.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I like, because Bivol was like, when he was asked, do you want a rematch? He was just kind of like, well, if the boxing fans want it. And this was at the post-fight press conference. And even some of the reporters and journalists were like, yes, we want the rematch. Yeah. We want the rematch. So, I mean, there's no financial obstacle when it comes to Turkey making fights happen. So, I mean, this fight could definitely be made. There could be an immediate rematch next year. So that's very exciting. But speaking about blue balled, I was blue balled because I put my money where my mouth was, and I had Bivol winning. I put a little bet that Bivol was going to win by majority decision. So when I was hearing those scorecards live, I was like, wow, I think I might hit it.
Yeah, you were so close. You were there. Like, oh my god, just picked the wrong guy. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I left happy, even though I didn't bet. So no, but yes, let's dive more into the aspect of the fight. Because I like how there's this fight was always being dubbed the 50-50, same way that the last year's Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence was dubbed the 50-50. But then you saw how that fight, and it was like 100-0. You know, it was a huge. It didn't play out to that expectation. But this one for sure 100% did live up to the 50-50. It was a very difficult fight to score a lot of the rounds, especially the early middle rounds for me. The ending though, the last 3 rounds, the championship rounds, and also the 10s, I would add, easily Beterbiev. I was baffled. At first watch, I believe I gave Bivol the final round, the 12th round, but after I rewatched it, I think Beterbiev swept the final 3 rounds. Showbiz and a couple other people were saying that Bivol only came in to, or he ended the fight just to survive. And I think it was apparent, especially the 11th round. Beterbiev had an output of how many punches? He threw 72 punches. In the 10th round he threw 70 punches. 11th round he threw 72, and in the 12th round he threw 63. His output was incredible throughout those last 3 rounds.
And what makes that even more impressive is that was his first time going 12 rounds. You know, the big thing.
I think he's been 12 rounds, 12 once, but he didn't go to the scorecard.
Oh, he knocked him. Oh, he has a knockout in the 12th round.
Yeah,
wow,
sure.
That's impressive. Still, I mean, the pace that he put on. I mean, this was an amazing pace. That was a pace of a champion. He closed the fight like an undisputed champion. And I think, Bivol, I don't know what he was doing in there, man. Those championship rounds are super important, especially when a fight is that close. Going in, it was like 5-5. You know, they was pretty much drawn. So I don't know why Bivol stepped off the gas. Maybe he himself was tired or something. But he finished the round so bad, or the fight so bad, and Beterbiev did what he had to do in those championship rounds.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was that he was just tired. I think it's really hard to go up against a guy like Beterbiev who slowly breaks you down. But not only that, he suffocates you. He suffocates the opponent, and not only that, but he also had a very high output. So I think that kind of like maybe threw Bivol off a little bit. And yeah, because I don't think he went into the championship round thinking that he had it in the bag. I don't believe so. I just think that he was just tired because, I mean, in the 11th round, I mean, he just completely took it off. Like, that was easily a clear round win for Beterbiev. And I thought that was kind of like strategy. I thought maybe he was going to come back stronger in the 12th, but it wasn't particularly the case. No. So, yeah.
Yeah, Bivol, those last 3 rounds especially, he's receiving, of course, people are saying he won the fight, but a lot of people are criticizing him for it because they're saying, yo, what were you doing? Like, we understand it's, high stake fight, you're probably a little gassed out, but I feel it's not very smart of you to just shell up and let Artur Beterbiev load up on shots on you like that, especially that 11th round. And I felt that Bivol was cracking a bit. We mentioned early on from the first round, Artur Beterbiev was already applying pressure. It wasn't aggressively super intense as he was compared to the later rounds, but he was already immediately applying pressure towards Bivol, and Bivol from the very get-go had to start using his legs, and that's what allowed Bivol also to have a lot of success in the early rounds, the ability to keep moving. And another thing is, we talked about it too, his lack of jabs after the second half of the fight. The first couple earlier opening rounds were I had Bivol winning perhaps 3-0 the opening 3 rounds, and a lot of his success came from the jab. So it was very notable once the second half of the fight started, where he no longer was pumping out the jab, and that allowed for Beterbiev to increase his aggressiveness, his pressure, and to have a lot more success just breaking the distance.
Yeah, and I think the best thing that Beterbiev was doing, there was a couple of things, right? But I think the best thing was his pressure, man. It's like we've been saying. I mean, this guy is well known for his pressure, and there was instances in the fight where Beterbiev was just rushing Bivol. It was like a bull just rushing his target.
And throwing at the same time, too.
So, and I think that was the thing that kind of started breaking down Bivol a little bit. I don't think it was the power, although I definitely think he felt it. I just think it was mainly how much pressure Beterbiev was putting on you. I mean, you can't just... You can have that great footwork, you can move around the ring and everything, but, I mean... Once you start getting tired, and the pressure continues to go. So, very impressive from Beterbiev, and I think that was the key probably to him winning the fight.
Yeah, it was the punch output for me that I think made him win this fight, because I would say the first like what you said, the first 3 rounds you gave it to Bivol. I mean, that's kind of how I had it in my own personal scorecards. But then after that, I think he kind of like woke up, or maybe that's when he started getting the engines running, and that's when we saw a change. I mean, Bivol wasn't even using the jab anymore, and Beterbiev was now coming forward a lot more.
Yeah, so those are some of the positives we noticed from Beterbiev. What are some positives that we all know, what you guys noticed from Bivol?
I think the footwork, obviously. I mean, he did a good job staying off the ropes. Now, towards the end of the fight, it started going pretty bad. But, I mean, we saw his footwork. His footwork was amazing. You know, and in Bivol's best rounds, he was boxing beautifully, man. Like, it was amazing. And I want to make this distinction as well because a lot of people online, they're saying, Bivol was just running the whole fight. He was, Beterbiev swept him. He was just on the front foot, being aggressive. That's fine, yes. Then that's true. That's what the fight played out as. But you can also be on the back foot and still outbox your opponent. You can be on the back foot and still win the round. There was instances where Beterbiev was pressuring him, but he wouldn't really throw punches. And Bivol was landing some great counters. I think that's another thing. His counter game was phenomenal. His right hand was landing like 70%.
He was like a sniper.
Yeah. It was very impressive. His timing was great. His counters were great. Using his legs to get Artur Beterbiev to overextend, maybe with the lunge in with the jab, and he'd counter him with the right hand. He also did good combinations when he threw combinations. Yeah,
I would say. I mean, he had those qualities. I mean, that's what helped him secure or have a good fight, and be the only person up until this point to survive Beterbiev. Go the distance with him. I think another thing that I want to point out is just his poker face, man. Like, even though I'm pretty sure he was feeling those power shots, and I think that at some points Beterbiev was able to land some clean punches to the body, and it looked like Bivol could have been hurt, but from the look of his face, you couldn't even tell.
Yeah.
So,
and he also had a great fantastic job keeping his hands up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the most important thing if you're gonna fight Beterbiev, right? Either you can't let him land clean, and Beterbiev never really landed a super clean shot like he always does, and that was because Bivol, I mean, his hands always right here, and I think that saved him a lot.
So now that we mentioned some of the good qualities that they brought, what are some notable things that you feel they could have done a little bit better? Some rooms of improvement, especially since we have a rematch looming potentially immediately after this fight, sometime early next year. What do you guys believe? Like, for example, let's start with Bivol. What are some things you guys see in Bivol that he could improve on for the rematch?
I think the biggest thing would be throw more punches. He was being extremely accurate and very precise in this fight, but his output was so low, man. What did he throw? 400 punches?
He threw a total of 423.
that's crazy.
It's pretty low. It's really not that high, man. And Beterbiev outthrew him by over 200 punches. So it's good to be accurate. It's good to be precise. But I want to see a little bit more activity because there are instances where he was not running around the ring, but he was moving backwards. And Beterbiev was just kind of throwing little pity pat punches, and nothing was hurting him, nothing was damaging him. It was just on the gloves, but he wouldn't throw back, and you're losing that. Then you can't just lose those rounds by you not throwing punches. So I want to see more punches from Bivol, more jabs.
I think that's the number one thing. For sure, maintain that jab, the whole throughout the fight, but also. I mean, I feel like what he was trying to do is just win the first 2 minutes of a round, and then kind of like let go of the gas a little bit towards the end or the last minute of a round. I think maybe look for instances on how to almost like recover or take a little break, but still be in the fight, if that makes sense. Not let off too much off the gas or just not throw completely at all.
Yeah, probably his conditioning as well. Because he did get tired. And I was surprised he got tired, but it was the pressure. So, I don't know. Maybe better conditioning. Yeah.
How about Beterbiev? What are some things you guys noticed during the fight that you feel would benefit if he improved on for the rematch?
Well, for Beterbiev, I think he fought like a great fight, honestly. I'm not exactly sure.
For me, would be just to watch out for the right hand, because he just kept getting hit with that right hand throughout the whole fight, beginning, middle, and end. I feel like maybe having a better job of just keeping that left hand, or just be wary of Bivol's right hand.
I would say for Beterbiev, for things he can improve on would be not to headhunt as much.
Oh, that's true.
That's the main thing I had a little problem with. He was relying too heavily on the headshots rather than going to the body, because he had a lot of good moments where he would have go that where he would actually switch it up and go down to the body, and he landed a good amount of shots whenever he did that. So, and I felt Bivol felt those pops too. So yeah, I would say, you know, I want to see more body shots for Beterbiev in the rematch, and I think that's really, I don't know, because this fight it was tough because Beterbiev, he's not known to be a super quick fighter. Bivol was the clear much faster than him, and it showed. Which is another thing I like from Bivol. He's very explosive. When he'd start letting his hands go, or he'd be moving around and then boom, explode with a 2 or 3 punch combination on Beterbiev and catch him clean. I mean, those were beautiful moments from Bivol, and I feel he has to take more advantage of that, you know, being the faster guy in the rematch. And yeah, the counter punches were phenomenal from Bivol. Easily the best moments of the fight came from him countering Artur Beterbiev. One bad thing I did notice about Bivol, though, and I think he realized it himself too, was that 7th round where he connected like a 2-piece on Artur Beterbiev, and he probably thought he hurt him or buzzed him, which he may have. I'm not sure. Regardless, he went at him. He got, I feel, a little too greedy. It's like when Anthony Joshua fought Daniel Dubois, and he thought he had hurt him badly, so he went for the kill, and then he got dropped and stopped. But in this case, I mean, he started letting his hands go, and then Artur Beterbiev caught him with like a swivel uppercut. That's the right. Oh my gosh, beautiful! Stopped him in his track, and then Artur Beterbiev stole that round. In the round in which Bivol was having a phenomenal 7th round, but because of that miscalculation of that error he had and getting caught with that punch, Beterbiev ended up landing like a 40 punch combination on him, you know, and Bivol had no response to it. So I would say not be as greedy, be a bit more calculated. And I think he did learn that, you know, he made the adjustments and not to overextend, which may have also impacted his output. You guys have anything else you guys would say for Beterbiev to improve on?
No, honestly, I think he fought a great fight. I agree with you. Yeah, definitely go to the body, because he had great instances to the body. But I mean, he fought a phenomenal fight, man. Like, and can he continue to replicate this, bro? He's 39. He's gonna be 40 when they get the rematch, if the rematch happens. Like, how much more times can he put performances like this? Because this is one of the best Beterbievs I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's a lot more astonishing because of that age. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's aging like fine wine. He's been in the sport for a very long time.
Pause.
And so, you know, at this point, you know, his body seems to be breaking down, but I mean, that's not really stopping him at all. You know, he had that knee surgery 5 months ago, and that didn't even seem to play a factor.
Not at all. Yeah, he looked healthy in there. He looked great in there. I mean, I don't know what this guy's made out of, because it's amazing.
I guess Russian fighters are just built different.
Yeah,
they are, man. They are. And I think you know, the whole fight happened, you know, and then we got to the scorecards, and now everyone is out here once again calling it a robbery, you know, saying Bivol got robbed, Bivol won. And like you said, a lot of prominent names in the sport are also saying, oh, Bivol won that fight. And Turkey himself, Bivol, both want a rematch, right? And I'm sure Artur Beterbiev also wants a rematch, which I also found interesting during his post-fight interview, because, you know, we're right here, you guys are saying that you thought it was a great performance from Artur Beterbiev. But he himself admitted he didn't feel too great. He didn't feel too good. And for him to not feel, you know, for him to not feel like he fulfilled or fought to the highest of his ability goes to show me, hey, man, maybe if they get the rematch sometime early next year, like maybe in the first quarter of 2025, you know, he's already going to have more than 7, 8, 9 months after his surgery. He's going to have more time to, you know, just work and dissect everything that happened during the fight. We might get an even better version of Artur Beterbiev if the rematch comes. If age does not play a factor, you know, it's always going to be an age thing, like I said last week. But I'm just saying, if you guys thought that was the best version of Artur Beterbiev, who fought a great fight against Bivol, imagine how much better he's going to look in the rematch.
Yeah, I don't know. I personally don't believe that. There's no way. I think what he felt was that he wasn't in control. And that's why he's like, you know, I didn't feel I lived up to my best. He's probably super critical on himself as well. I mean, Bivol also was talking about, like, his standard is perfection. And if he doesn't get it, then he's not happy, or, you know. So I just saw him fight a great fight. I don't think anything hindered him. Like, I'm trying to like really think. I don't think anything hindered Beterbiev to, and if he is able to somehow magically pull up new skills in the rematch, I mean, I'll shut up then.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, a lot of people are calling it a robbery. What would you guys say to those people who were online saying that Bivol won? It was robbery. It's common, you know, it's modern day boxing judges now who are always commonly rigging the fights. What do you guys have like any words for them or anything that, you know, you would like to say to like clarify, or if you guys agree with what they're saying? Got anything?
Well, for me, I mean, you can't say. I mean, there's one thing. You can't say robbery when the fight is really close. I mean, the scorecards reflect that, except maybe that third judge. But they were pretty close. I mean, I think a lot of people, I think that word gets used a lot because, you know, people bet money and stuff like this. So I think that's why.
Because they got robbed.
They got robbed. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And so I think it's that term robbery, it was a robbery, is used a lot. It's used loosely in today's age.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, same thing. I mean, I don't remember some boxer I think tweeted it out saying close fights aren't robberies. You know, it was a close ass fight. It could have gone either way. Honestly, yeah, it could have. My first time watching it, I did have it a draw, but I was edging it. If anybody won, I was gonna edge it a little towards Bivol. Now my second watch, I edged it a little bit towards Beterbiev. Maybe in my next watch, I'm gonna have a different, you know. So yeah, it was just a hard fight to score, I'd say. I'd also say it kind of depends on what you like as like a judge, because if you like forward pushing the pace, a lot of punches, you're gonna favor Beterbiev in this fight. If you like a more boxing, more sweet science, if you like precision, hit and not get hit, you're gonna favor Bivol. So to judge boxing is like one of the hardest things to do, because there's so much aspects, so much bias that people have. You know, you maybe you like a certain type of style, maybe you like a different type of style, and that's gonna influence how you score the fight.
Yeah, and just going back to that term, a robbery. Like, if people really want to call this fight a robbery, they should look at some of the fights back in the day. I mean, one example that I have in particular, Pernell Whitaker versus Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. That was a clear robbery, and they still gave it to Chavez.
Nah, that wasn't no robbery, bro.
That was a robbery.
That was not no robbery. Chavez got that draw. It was a draw, right?
It was a draw.
He got that draw. All right.
That was a robbery.
He edged it out.
Well, a lot of people are comparing this fight, not the scorecard, but they're comparing this fight as kind of similar to the aspect of Golovkin and Canelo, the first fight. You know, it was very tactical, very hardcore boxing friendly, because you know, I saw some people online saying they're like, this fight was boring.
Yeah.
And I was all like, there's no way you found this fight boring. And you know, I saw the reply. They got maybe like one like from their comment, and then I saw the reply of like 20 of them.
Yeah.
And they were like, everyone just calling them a casual or saying that you don't appreciate real boxing and stuff like that, yada yada. But yeah, I appreciate the those are the types of fights I love watching. You know, it's like Golovkin and Canelo, also Donaire against Inoue. They're very tactical, very chess-like, and you know, since I'm getting into chess a little bit, I appreciate, you know, I appreciate the IQ that goes into play, especially when it comes to two of the very best fighters in their weight division. You know, the thing I also found very interesting was also they've known each other for years, man. Didn't they mention they were like soccer? They played soccer together, football together.
This is what the announcers said. They said that Beterbiev and Bivol used to play soccer together. I had no idea of this. Well, like, what the hell?
Their words, not mine. Man. Yeah, I mean, I was just saying, but I knew that. I mean, they've known each other for many years. They've been at the top of the game, and now they finally clashed, and it was a fight that, you know, I would say lived up to expectations, and it's one that gives us another fight, you know, another thing to look forward to, which is the rematch, hopefully next year.
And the funny thing about that as well is, like, you know, them knowing each other for years, they were so cold after the fight. Like, they didn't go, you know, sportsmanship, you go up, you're like, hey man, good fight, give him a hug, oh yeah, yada yada yada. They just dabbed up, and then they went their separate ways. They didn't even talk after the fight. They didn't speak a single word to each other. Like, it's so funny that they've known each other so long. They're so distant. I don't know if I wouldn't say they like dislike each other, but they're not friendly at all, which is kind of interesting. But another thing about the rematch, And comparing it to Canelo and Golovkin, I think that's actually a good comparison. The sad thing is that we're not going to be able to get a trilogy. For 39 years old, we if we're lucky, we're going to get a rematch. I think we are going to get a rematch, but there's no way we're getting 3 fights out of them, man. It's just not possible.
Too late in their career?
I think it's too late for Beterbiev. I think it's too late. But for Bivol, I mean, I'd say he'd love a rematch. That'd be great for his trilogy. That'd be great for his legacy. He's 33 years old still. So
Yeah. So I was thinking about it, and I said immediate rematch is what we need because, we have the rumors or supposedly they already the confirmation of David Benavidez as he takes on David Morrell. And, they're saying, the winner of that fight is going to get the winner of Bivol and Beterbiev. And since this fight ended in, huge, a very controversial outcome to it, and we're apparently going to get a rematch, I'm just saying, if that fight of Benavidez and Morrell takes place in January, then we could potentially get the rematch for Beterbiev and Bivol sometime maybe March, April, hopefully. And then in the fall of 2025, we can get another undisputed showdown at light heavyweight between the winners of each fight, which I think would set up perfectly for the timeline.
Yeah, Morrell and Benavidez are making big plays, so they're obviously gunning for the title shot, it's kind of funny because now it's so funny because everyone's gunning for it, but then now there's controversy. Now they have to fight each other again. It's going to take even more time. So it's like, yeah.
Well, let's say this. Let's say we get the rematch, right? And then we have to watch Benavidez take on Morrell. First off, who would you guys give that fight to?
This might sound crazy, or I don't even know. I don't give that much props to Morrell, man. I still think he's very young. He's super young, and his fight, his debut at 175 was very underwhelming, extremely underwhelming. He did not look great in there. Of course, it could be an off night, new weight class. I'll cut him some slack. But now he's going up against the monster, David Benavidez, who is the real deal. We've seen it countless times. David Benavidez knows what the hell he's doing. So honestly, I give this fight I'm favoring heavily David Benavidez.
Wow, that's crazy. You give no props to David Morrell.
No, I mean, the little props. But, if he's going up against the monster, bro, there's no way he's going to win. I give it 70-30. I'm honest.
70-30?
Yeah.
Well, that's like a mismatch then.
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah, I think so, honestly.
Yeah. For me, I'm not going to say this is a 50-50 fight. I'm just like you. I favor Benavidez. But I'm going to say it's like a 60-40. Yes, I think Morrell doesn't have. He has 12 professional boxing fights.
He's super young.
He's super early. One can say he's biting off more than he can chew. But you have to look into his history. He's been boxing for a very long time. I think he's had over 200 amateur fights. He has world-class amateur boxing experience, and I think that goes a long way. Plus, he's also from the Cuban school of boxing, so that plays heavily into him as well. But and I believe he's also a southpaw, so that kind of helps. But yeah, man, I think it's something different when you're fighting against a guy who just does not stop coming forward and is that huge, like David Benavidez, his nickname, the Monster, or his.
That is a nickname, yeah.
I thought his nickname was the red flag.
Oh yeah,
He has multiple.
Yeah, he has multiple ones, but the Monster, it fits perfectly for him. It suits him perfectly well. That doesn't necessarily mean that Morrell can't win, right? He could still just box him, outbox him, and whatnot. He's not gonna get him on beating him punch for blow for blow or whatever. But yeah, if I were to pick a side, it would be Benavidez.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say this. Let's say Benavidez beats Morrell, and let's say. Okay, let's make this hypothetical. It doesn't matter. Beterbiev, Bivol.
Let's play matchmaker.
Let's play matchmaker. I like this. Who has? Does Benavidez beat Bivol or Beterbiev if he beats Morrell and he gets the shot at undisputed?
I don't believe so.
No,
I don't believe so. I don't think Benavidez, especially in his move up to 175. It was a good showing. It wasn't horrible, but I don't think he's gonna beat Beterbiev or Bivol, honestly. I think he has a better chance against Bivol just because his style is a little bit better because he's gonna go forward. But against Beterbiev, I think he's gonna get hurt. I think.
Wow, that's interesting.
He gets hit, but Benavidez isn't hard to hit,
No.
and he's a guy that takes the punishment so he can land his shots, and it's worked well with him when he's fighting smaller guys. But what about when he fights guys his size that do have pop? I don't think it's gonna go that good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Let's say Benavidez wins his fight against Morrell. I could see him honestly beating Beterbiev easier than Bivol. I think he would have a little bit of a harder time fighting Bivol. I think he has a better chance of beating and possibly even stopping Beterbiev. I mean, Beterbiev is just there just like him, is a force to be reckoned with. No one can really push him back. He never fights on the back foot just like Benavidez. But I think Benavidez has a lot of things going for him. Not only does he have the power, but he also has the volume punches,
The age.
as well, the younger fighter. And he's taller than him too. He has a longer reach, and I think that's gonna play a factor. And I think he could possibly stop Beterbiev.
Yeah, I would. You know, I see the argument for how Benavidez would beat Beterbiev online. People have been saying like, oh, I think Beterbiev loses against Benavidez, even so more now based on the fight against Bivol. Because they see him as a guy who's there to be hit. Of course, he brings the pressure and he has that power. But personally, for me, I don't see Benavidez right now beating Beterbiev or beating Bivol. Like you said, he is a fighter who relies on, he's there to be hit. He gets hit, and he's able to dish it out too. But I mean, we're talking about Beterbiev, we're talking about Bivol, we're talking about two high elite fighters who just, especially after this fight, I mean, they're both gonna level up, I would assume. So if they were to fight against David Benavidez, I would edge it more in favor of Bivol or Beterbiev beating Benavidez than Benavidez beating either one of them too.
Yeah, Benavidez kind of is in a tough spot because I mean, I'm sure he believes he can beat the champion, whoever is champion at 175. But I mean, that going 168 is still kind of a door opportunity, especially if he gets the Canelo fight. So he's kind of playing the waiting game. He's waiting for Canelo to see if Canelo will give him the opportunity. And then now he's waiting for Bivol and Beterbiev. I guess they're going to get a rematch now. It's like kind of a tough spot to be in for him.
Yeah, and I feel kind of sorry for him because I feel like he's been in that position for a very long time.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's been waiting for that fight with Canelo when he was at 168. I think when he was a mandatory for the WBC as well, and he never got that opportunity. So I think that's kind of funny. So now he continues to wait even at a new weight class.
Playing the waiting game.
Yeah.
But I feel like he would have more of a shot of actually, getting an opportunity to fight one of the champions at 175 rather than 168, especially since I mean, of course, Canelo calls the shots, so he can pick and choose whoever. Meanwhile, 175 is also not that deep of a division. I mean, you have these two titans, and then there's everyone else. And now with the emergence of David Morrell and David Benavidez, it does add some life into the division, but. Yeah, I see Benavidez having just an easier route towards a championship shot at 175 rather than 168.
Yeah.
But so I saw a lot of people making predictions for if Benavidez would be able to beat Beterbiev and Bivol. So I was very interested to see what you guys thought.
I'm actually kind of surprised. Like, is that
It's possible.
It's possible. I don't know if
because they're ranked. Both of them are ranked. Benavidez and Morrell.
I'm saying like the outcome.
Oh.
Happening probably, or maybe, I don't know.
I would say happening for sure.
Yeah, happening. I don't know.
Maybe sometime late next year. I would say.
Okay. Well, yeah. Perhaps. Yeah. It depends. Also depends. I mean, whoever loses to Bivol, let's see, they get a rematch. Beterbiev or Bivol, the winner. What is the loser gonna do?
They're gonna fight David Morrell.
Yeah, that's exactly. So it's like Benavidez, honestly, you're the winner of that fight, can honestly fight the loser as well. Like, oh my.
Well, I mean, if let's say Beterbiev wins the rematch, Bivol could get a rematch with Canelo.
Yeah.
Then Canelo might see, hey, this guy, he's coming off 2 losses now. he's maybe in the decline. Maybe he's not mentally there anymore. Maybe the perfect opportunity to bounce and get my lick back for the loss that I took from him like 2 years ago.
Speaking of Canelo, I wonder what he thought of the performance of the fight.
Oh, he was in Japan.
He was in Japan watching stablemate.
Maybe he was sleeping during that time.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, he woke up. He was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, I wonder if he watched the fight.
Yeah, I wonder what his thoughts are about that.
Man, he's probably thinking, man, I should have done what Beterbiev did, bro.
Well, he tried.
He tried, but he just didn't have that.
There's a difference between an actual a 175 pounder who's actually fights at 175 rather than the guy who's been going up in a weight compared to like Canelo. So
yeah. And also the pressure is so different. Like Canelo has a much more calculated way of pressuring his opponents, whereas Beterbiev is just a bull, bro. He's just going in there like with the presence, you know, kind of little feints. Yeah, so
I actually saw this question online. Canelo has fought Bivol, came up short. Do you think he would have a chance of beating Beterbiev?
No,
I don't think so either.
No,
he's just too small for the 175.
Beterbiev hits harder.
Yeah,
and I mean, they're different styles. So I would say Canelo would have more success when it comes to his offensive game, but Canelo, he's not the same fighter, you know, defensive wise when it comes to, like, you know, he gets hit a lot more now than he used to back when he was in his 160 days, his middleweight days, and even earlier than that. But so he's there to be hit now, you know, he gets hit a lot more. And I mean, even if you block Beterbiev shots, proof is in the pudding. Bivol, I mean, he didn't get anything super clean landed on him, but he looked like he got bulldozed by Beterbiev, even though he didn't land anything too clean on him. And they were just shots that
they were partially blocked.
Yeah, they're shockwaves.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. Shockwave shots that had Bivol's eyes like that. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, and Canelo relies on that high guard a good amount. You know, when he fought Kovalev at 175, that was basically his defense, just a high guard. And he got marked up a lot in that fight. You can't be taking those little pity pat shots from Beterbiev, man. No, because they're not pity pat.
Yeah, Beterbiev does not throw pity pat shots.
No.
Well, that's why also Canelo. I mean, has Canelo ever mentioned Beterbiev like as a potential matchup?
No, I don't think he's ever said his name.
You're never gonna say his name.
I don't think he has.
No,
and that's another thing people were saying, because, you know, I saw that same people were saying, does Canelo beat Beterbiev? And then I saw someone say, bro, like, you think Canelo's gonna beat Beterbiev? First off, no. Second off, he doesn't even mention his name. He's never mentioned his name, and that got me thinking. I was like, has he ever mentioned Artur Beterbiev?
No, he's never mentioned him, and for good reason. I think if you're going up to 175, it's a very tough challenge to begin with. So, and fight Bivol. You know, at least you're not gonna get knocked out. You're gonna lose probably. But you're not gonna get hurt that bad. If you go up against Artur Beterbiev, who is now the undisputed champion, I mean, you don't want that smoke, man. And they've asked. I don't even think that fight will happen. That's probably a fantasy fight, because they even asked Beterbiev, and he was like, "I don't care." He's like, "I don't care, bro." So that fight's never happening, unfortunately.
Well, I'd rather see just Canelo not fight Beterbiev, to be honest. I wouldn't want to see that matchup. But so now we have a new undisputed champion at 175. At lightweight, we have Artur Beterbiev take the throne and talks for an immediate rematch. I know Bivol said that he was going to meet with Turkey the following day to discuss his future plans with him. So I'm expecting the talks to be about a rematch. And I'm sure that Turkey's also already in talks with Artur Beterbiev's team, because Turkey moves like that, man.
Turkey is like that.
And he has the whole fight video on his YouTube. Hey, man, Turkey, he saves us a lot of money, bro.
Yeah, if you want to watch the fight already, want to rewatch Beterbiev vs. Bivol, just go to Turkey Al Sheik's YouTube channel.
Exactly.
It's right there.
Perfect quality from the ring walks all the way towards the post-fight interviews. I mean, I'm telling you right now, Turkey really comes in clutch for boxing.
Yeah, he's different.
Yes, sir. Is there anything else you guys want to mention
quickly? But before, I forgot that we should have probably talked about this earlier, but maybe we're not even going to get the rematch. Maybe the decision is going to be overturned. As it turns out, I think the manager from Bivol is filing a motion to contest the decision, specifically the 116 and the 112. Is it going to be overturned?
No.
Yeah, I feel like every time some talk is like a team is not happy with one of the scorecards or the decision, they always say, "We're gonna go to the commission.
Yeah.
We're gonna get this handled. We're gonna get it overturned." And then you just never hear anything from it.
Yeah.
It's because nothing ever happens.
Yeah, and even if they do file it, yeah, there's no way that shit is gonna be overturned. I think it's like super low. There's a low rate of being overturned to begin with, and then for a fight being that close, it's not like you have better grounds to overturn perhaps the Canelo Golovkin first fight with that 118, 110 scorecard. That was a worse one than this fight. I don't think it was that bad. No.
Yeah, I don't believe it. They like you guys already talked about it, but yeah, every time something like this happens, someone puts an appeal. I mean, it's more notable in the influencer scene. With the appeals. I think that's where it all started, right? Influencer. The notion of appealing.
You just had to throw in the influencer in there somewhere.
I mean, when Logan Paul appealed against KSI in the rematch.
Yeah.
Nah, there's not gonna be. Nothing's gonna happen from it. They're just very upset about the 116, 112 specifically, and also I'm pretty sure they think that Bivol won that fight.
Yeah, and there was some trash talk coming from his team. The manager again I think it was the manager. I don't know. It was a stablemate, whatever. He was like, critiquing the judges, and he's like, once the judge comes back from Chechnya, then we can take responsibility. He was saying he went to Beterbiev's home. That is so funny.
Yeah. There's actually one thing that I do want to mention because it was just kind of like not awkward, but it was just kind of out there. I think no one else was more excited apart from Arthur getting, the victory in his team. I think the second person that was more excited that he won was Bivol's ex-wife.
Oh yeah,
which she did a little live stream. Yeah, she recorded her reaction to the entire fight, but more specifically the decision, and she was ecstatic. Yeah, let's put it that way.
That shit is absolutely diabolical, bro. That is so crazy. Your ex-wife on live stream, and throughout the whole week, she's been like commenting, Artur, Team Arthur, and now they gets the win, and she's going crazy on live. Oh my gosh, dude, I'd feel so bad.
Yes. I don't know. That's also another fact that I may have influenced Bivol outside of the ring, having to deal with all that whole drama and the whole personal spiel with him. So yeah, I saw that video of her reaction. I was like, dude, there's no way.
No shame.
No shame.
Come on, no guilt.
She went like, oh, congrats to Arthur. You got him in the ring. Now I'm gonna get him in court.
Oh my gosh, dude.
That is crazy.
Fucking diabolical, bro.
Well, is there anything else you guys want to mention besides it's the perfect way to end it? What do you guys think? Do you guys think Bivol's life is in the right in live streaming this reaction?
Oh my god,
insanity! No, but let us know about your thoughts. Do you guys think that Bivol was quote unquote robbed, or do you guys think that Artur Beterbiev is the rightful undisputed champion? Also, let us know. Do you think Beterbiev or do you think David Benavidez would beat Dmitry Bivol or Artur Beterbiev in a possible future match? Let us know what you guys are thinking down in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on all forms of social media. We are on X, TikTok, and Instagram. Lastly, don't forget to join our Discord. We're trying to build up a server, and the best way to get in touch with us is to join our server. So make sure to follow it or to join it. And everything that I mentioned is down in the link in the description below. But this was Pablo, and I'm with Rudo and Asa, and this was the Last Round Podcast. Thank you for watching.